Hello Year 5 and 6, welcome back to Wednesday's reading tutorial. We're looking at some literary retrieval questions today. Now literal retrieval, as you will all know, because you've done it so many times across the course of the year, and last year if you're in Year 6 you'll have done it as well, are the questions that have answers that you can find directly in the text. So for example, if it told you Jack went to school in a brown jumper, red shoes, and an orange hat, you might have the question, what colour was Jack's hat? And the answer would be orange. So the answers are there to find in the text. What I'm going to ask you to do is you'll get the pages up like this, 2 pages per slide. If you need the PDFs will have been sent out as well. So you will have the PDFs available if that helps you to read them. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to read the 2 pages that are on the screen. So pause the video, read the 2 pages that are on the screen each time. When you've read those 2 pages, start the video up again, and I will be setting you some questions to have a go at whilst those pages are on the screen. Because what I don't want you to do is read through the whole thing and then answer the questions. This time I'd like you to be answering the questions as we go. So I know that the right pages are on the screen, on the screen for you, I'm getting my words muddled. So if you can pause the video here, please, and then start it up when you finish these 2 pages, and I'll show you the first 3 questions that all come from pages 89 and 90. Okay, you should hopefully have started the video up again now, and if you have, that's brilliant. We can now have a look at the questions. So, question 1, 2, and 3, just on the screen there for you. What simile, keep doing that because I'm trying to move my picture on the screen, there we go, to somewhere where it's not in your way at all. So, what simile does Cameron use to describe his new room? Question 2. What couldn't Cameron help resenting about Dr. Bryce? And question 3, what item does Dr. Bryce try and convince Cameron to leave behind as he goes in for his operation? They are all on pages 89 or 90. What I will say is I've tried to do this just as though it was an actual reading paper, where the questions tend to come chronologically. So if question 1 should be the earliest in the text, question 2 will be a bit further on, question 3 will be further on still. So I've done that with these. So question 1 will be the earliest in the text, then 2, then 3. They're not bouncing all over the place. So if you can have a go answering those questions, please. I don't need you to write out the question. You can just write question 1 and then your answer. But I would like you to put your answers in full sentences, please, if you are not writing the question. If you decide to write out the question, you can just answer in as short an answer as you wish if you've written out the question. Okay, pause the video, do those 3 questions. When you've done those 3 questions, start up the video again, and I'll put us onto the next slide. Okay, hopefully you've now started the video up again because you've answered those 3 questions. Exactly the same routine again. Pause the video, read pages 91 and 92. And then when you've done that, start the video up. I will read through your next 3 questions. Wonderful. Hopefully now you've started the video up again. Your next 3 questions then. Why doesn't Dr. Bryce want to give an exact date for Cameron getting home? Question 5. What words show that Marlon is shocked to learn that Cameron is having his operation tomorrow? So that's a bit of a vocabulary question. You've got to find some words. There are 2. I'll give you a hint. There's 2 words. 2 words that show that Marlon is quite shocked at the news Cameron's having his operation tomorrow. And then finally, what simple choice does Cameron see himself as having? Whenever you've got that in the individual speech marks, I've quoted it from the text. So that exact word will be in the text somewhere in relation to Cameron's choice. So pause the video again here, answer those 3 questions. When you've answered those 3 questions, start up the video again. I'll show you the next 2 pages. Wonderful, thank you very much. So I'll show you the next 2 pages now. You know the routine by now, I'm not even going to say it. Have a read through. Brilliant, thank you very much. Your next 3 questions. What does Cameron have tumbling around in his head? And again, that tumbling is in those, well, the single inverted commas. That means it's been quoted straight out of that text. What makes Cameron feel like he is that it's all more real somehow? And again, more real somehow in quotes. So it's straight from the text. And then finally, what does Cameron have to eat after his breakfast, but before his operation? So answer those 3 questions, and I'll start the video up again when you've done that. Okay, final page then, or half a page. So have a quick read of that, won't be very long this time. Pause me whilst you do it, start the video again, I'll show you question 10. Okay, final question then. And I just need to move my picture because I can't see my question. There we go. What does Cameron claim caused his tissue to be soggy instead of his tears? He says it wasn't all tears. There was another reason why his handkerchief or his tissue is all soggy. When you've done that final question, make sure you've got 10 questions written and 10 answers. Or you've just got 1 to 10 in your answers, but if you've done 1 to 10 in your answers, you need them to be in full sentences, please. What I'm going to do is I'm now going to go through the answers with you, so you can self-mark these. Please do not go onto this part of the video until you've answered the questions. Nobody benefits there. It's just cheating. Nobody likes a cheater. So make sure you've had a go at the answers first, and then we'll go through them together. So, on this first page, we had, what simile does Cameron use to describe his new room? So he says it was more like a hotel room than a hospital room. So the simile is more like a hotel room. Question 2. What couldn't Cameron help resenting about Dr. Bryce? So part of me couldn't help resenting the fact that the doctor was discussing things about me, but not with me. So your answer is, what couldn't Cameron help resenting about Dr. Bryce? That he was discussing things about me, but not with me. So you need that bit there. The doctor was discussing things about me, but not with me. And then finally, question 3. What item does Dr. Bryce try and convince Cameron to leave behind? He tries to convince him to leave behind his camcorder. That's what he tries to get him to leave behind. We've got that bit there as well, because it doesn't want him to pick up any infections. Okay, question 4. Why doesn't Dr. Bryce want to give an exact date for getting Cameron home? He doesn't want to give an exact timetable in case they can't stick to it. So in case something happens, or in case he couldn't make it, or in case something goes wrong, any of those would be fine as answers. Question 5. What words show that Marlon is shocked to learn that Cameron's operation is tomorrow? 2 words here that I was looking for, and I did tell you I needed 2, so you need both of these. Whispered, the fact that he's whispering shows that he's quite shocked, quite nervous about it, and stunned. I'll be a bit nice. If you've written just 1 of those rather than 2, I'll let you tick that as well anyway, that's fine. And then finally, what simple choice does Cameron see himself as having? But it's simple. I have to choose between living and dying. So the simple choice is between living and dying. That's the answer it's looking for there, between living and dying. Okay, number 7. Cameron has words tumbling around in his head. So the answer to that one is words. Question 8. What makes Cameron feel like it's all more real somehow? So the answer is having somebody outside the family and outside the clinic knowing what was happening. I will also accept telling Marlon. That's fine. So you can either say telling Marlon made Cameron feel like it was all more real, or you can say that somebody outside of the family and the clinic knew about it. Number 9, what does Cameron have to eat after his operation, after his breakfast, but before his operation? Now, I did this one on purpose. I'm trying to trip you up, because what I was hoping might happen is that people would go through looking for a food to see what he was able to eat and not find one, because he's not allowed to eat anything. So the answer to what does Cameron have to eat after his breakfast but before his operation is nothing. He has nothing to eat. And they do that on reading papers. They try and trick you. So I've been mean. I've tried to trick you. Let me know if I've managed it. Email me in. And finally, number 10, what does Cameron claim caused his tissue to be soggy instead of his tears? He says that he blew his nose in it. So they are your answers, your 10 answers, those 10 questions. Do still email me in if you're working from home with pictures of your work or scans or emails of the Word document you were typing on, whatever it is. If you're working in school, well done. You've done really well, I'm sure. Make sure if you didn't get 10 out of 10, make sure you're thinking about what went wrong, how you can get better next time. And I'll be back with you tomorrow for Thursday's reading tutorial. Thursday already. Wow, this week is vanishing on us. But I'll be back then. But for now, goodbye.